Japan is one of America's closest allies. The EU is one of its biggest economic partners. But as the US pressures both to take a harder line on China, they're doing something else. They're not picking sides. In a world split by rivalry, Japan and the EU are choosing stability. Let's break down how, and why it matters now more than ever. Subscribe if you want global stories that go beyond headlines, and into what actually shapes the world. Japan hosts the largest overseas US military presence. It's deeply integrated into Washington's security structure. But economically? China is Japan's largest trading partner, accounting for nearly 20% of total trade. That's a link Japan cannot, and will not, walk away from. US officials have suggested that allies reduce trade with China to form a united front. But Japanese negotiators are focused on bilateral trade talks, on cars, agriculture, and tariffs. And when it comes to China, officials have been clear: we'll act in our own national interest. That includes continuing business in China, like Toyota's new $2 billion plant in Shanghai. Japan's memory goes back to 2010, when a rare earth embargo from China disrupted manufacturing. The response? Diversify supply chains, not cut off trade. That's still the playbook today: reduce risk, not break relationships. The EU is taking a similar path. It's pushed back against Chinese subsidies, especially on electric vehicles, by imposing tariffs. But it's also continued diplomatic outreach. This July, European leaders will travel to Beijing for a summit, signaling that dialogue is still on the table. For both Japan and the EU, the issue isn't loyalty, it's stability. Both rely on open trade, predictable policy, and access to Chinese supply chains. And neither wants to lock into a confrontation they can't control. This isn't Cold War-style neutrality. It's a new kind, driven by interdependence, not ideology. By continuing trade with China and cooperation with the US, Japan and Europe are sending a message: we don't want a split, we want options. As tensions rise, the quiet diplomacy of Japan and the EU might be the real story. Not confrontation, but calculated distance. Not choosing sides, but keeping channels open. If you found this helpful, subscribe for more breakdowns that skip the noise and focus on the global moves that actually matter.